Welcome to another GNL Dive. Melga is once again with me this week, and we're going to look at something neat today. Say hello, Melga.
Hello, everyone.
You were supposed
Let's
to
go
say hello,
to
Melga.
Hello, Melga.
That was the joke.
It was, but the joke flew off like Melgas do.
But tonight we're going to be looking at something neat that was added to the 3.1 update, and that is a large chunk of previous event alterations have been added to the permanent alteration pool. Excuse me. So I think it would be prudent just to go through these one by one and just kind of outline what we think the real value is in each. What's neat about them, now that you have permanent access to them, what you should keep an eye out for.
Yes, in case we get a bigger pool of reprints in the future.
Excuse me. Oh yeah, yeah. If
Since
you
I think
for some reason end up getting some of these parts, maybe you're hoarding them in your parts box basement, and you just don't know what to do with them. This will just be our thoughts on what's hot and what's not.
exactly compact version of running through.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna try to keep this nice and brief. How about as we go in, I tap on one and I highlight what I think its cool parts are. You highlight what you think the cool parts are, and then we talk about why and move on to the next because we have quite a few to cover here.
Yes, we do.
Um, as always, if you want somewhere nice to talk about this game with some fellow loving players and a warm community, you can check out our main Discord server at discord.gg/gbm GNL New Type Labs. Starting out with the first batch, which I could have sworn Rising was in, since it was the first release, but no. The first batch of Welfare reruns we got, or event reruns, sorry, is Gushin, Togis 2, and Hyakushiki. So,
And they bring a tremendous amount of value even today.
there's some neat stuff here, for sure. Um, Looking at the Toad first, all of these are actually really effective EXs. I mean, Vulcans are a bit of a meme, but all these EXs that's packing through this list are already good and only really getting, usable with the alteration, in my opinion. There's not a lot going on here. The Anchor Buster in the torso is still very strong without it, just gets a little stronger with it. The arm satellites that are very similar to the Virulent, they were usable before, and now they just have a decent power after alteration, but nothing I'd go for. If I were to pick something off this list that I'd say is like a essential, it would probably be the submachine gun.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is a big, beefy shooting, enemy shooting reduction, as well as a job gauge boost. Shooting reduction on guns isn't really uncommon, but for a defender, it's something nice. You're making a tank build, something that can survive PvE, just that can survive that much better. And that passive job boost also helps you get that defender bubble up even sooner and even more often, to just absolutely not care about whatever is touching you.
And to add something to it, both the submachine gun has some good defensive value. So if the stat wise, so if you're building for some of the stat arenas, you can use this as a filler.
Am
So
I
not
tripping?
amazing, but helps.
Am I tripping, or is this missing a mark?
Huh?
Shouldn't it have 4 marks? No, because it's a 3-star. Hey, I am full of it
No,
tonight.
3-star.
I don't know. I guess I expect it to have more defense, but I guess it's from a different era. I mean, 1,000's still okay
Yeah,
on a gun, but for some reason I remember it being a little higher.
yeah. There are some 2K ones out there. Like I wouldn't recommend, for example, the hammer because you have the Guzian Rebake axe available as a permanent alter 2 that just
Doing a much better
is a
job.
monster. Yeah.
Uh, Moving through the next one, Tallgeese 2, what do you would say is a real value on this guy? I mean,
Well, and we cannot avoid about talking about
hold on, let's just give you a
the
second to
elephant,
just,
the elephant in the room.
you see nothing.
The elephant in the room is the head.
You
You
don't see me
have
doing
like
anything here. Don't worry about it.
it's a 49% buff that is clearly really strong and boosts both shot
Mhm.
and melee, and gets powered up by our current new limit break boosts. So it's just straight up strong.
Yeah, that new limit burst ability to throw up to 30% max buff up effect for free with no trade investment is pretty nuts. And since it's
It's
additive,
a
it just
monster.
turns this into 79% for each stat.
It's easy win, easy value here.
This is a fantastic alteration value. A little bit less so. It has a little more competition in the current field, especially since X Divider just got its own alteration, which gives it a offense
True,
up
true.
gamma, which is affecting your whole team for the same values.
Yes,
But if you happen to have this maxed from way back when, either the original run or the re-release, you can find a lot more value by having an already maxed out version.
exactly. The divider head is really really good, but maxing it out takes some resources. I would also like to speak about the arms because
Yes.
a friend of mine was doing some tests recently, and apparently the arms, the chest is okay. I would say the arms are the real value for me. The X skill, because the after some tests, it seems like it hits slightly above its weight class,
Okay.
and it does more damage than the recent hot scramble back.
Hot Scramble back is getting a bad rap, but yeah, it's not great. I feel like its utility and just being so gosh dang wide is the real kicker.
Yeah, but that's it. That's just, if you have this one and you want a large beam, this one is already a great place to start.
So we're gonna jot down head and arms maybe for the Tolgis too. Granted, the Tolgis one has a
Yeah,
near identical EX as well, but again, if you happen to have this already maxed up, it's a very solid option with some better tags, honestly.
yes. And this one also benefits really hard from the cooldown profile on being maxed.
Oh yeah,
Going from 90 to
60-15
60 is a lot.
is almost usable compared to what other Droby start at. I don't believe there's anything else going on in this. Shooting power against a force base
Yeah,
for me.
the chest is okay.
The
The
torso
chest
is
is okay,
okay
but
for
with the
that
recent
shooting
patch,
power boost, but eh.
yeah, we got a recent batch of really high value parts with the B30 and the B30 and the Xiong, which make this feel like slightly less value.
Correct. Everyone's golden boy, Hyakushiki. This one has a lot going on, I think. Oh, some standouts, at least. Well,
Mm-hmm.
one standout, at least. The
One
EXs,
guaranteed.
yeah. The EXs really aren't doing a whole lot. I don't recall any significant traits going on. It had that weird syndrome that Tolgis 2 previously just had, where it needs a specifically tagged enemy to get its full effect. In this case, it's trying to take down aces. In Tolgis' case, it was force space. Force space being very
Mm-hmm.
uncommon. I have fond memories of using the excuse that message of using the Tolgis, well not Tolgis, sorry, the Shiki backpack to harass
One of
ace
the arenas,
only
yeah.
arenas.
Mm-hmm.
But the winner here is probably most definitely the beam rifle, hands down.
Yes, and the Shiki back just got murderized when we got the Gerbera. When we get to Gerbera,
Mm.
that Tetra just
Not
ends
much you
it.
can do
But yeah,
about that. But
this
this,
rifle, this rifle is like chef's kiss. You cannot complain about this rifle. It has two very valuable shot tags, has a non-sloucher value of shot base, and beam boost, and 20% initial cooldown, a value that is usually only on Sokai suits and standard suits when maxed, is just
yeah,
a win.
that is pretty damn great. One part obligation. You just need to run middle shooter, and you have that ICD. And those tags
It's
let it sub
just value.
into, with actually really great base attack, lets it sub into something like large Gundam beam rifle really easy with that mid range.
Yeah. And it even has a good melee defense if you want
Oh yeah,
to use
fantastic.
this
Like
because the Bmax boost works is not just for shot.
now, if you excuse me for 1 second, apparently a long dead conversation has re-engaged itself, and I need to go mute its ass right now. I'm just gonna step out of the stream momentarily.
Yes.
All right, sorry about that. We're back up and running here. I
Yes.
believe we mentioned the Shiki rifle was the goodbye OBS. Everyone knows I'm using you. It's not a secret. The Shiki rifle was a real key here.
It's undeniably good.
Mhm.
So
Everything else goes from
I do think the
EXs to
sword.
usable ones. What about the saber?
Yeah, the sword X skill is solid. The low ICT profile and being a single hit makes the saber X skill solid. I would not say amazing, but value.
Now, does
But
this
just
still
just good to
have?
use.
We can actually discover my answer right here real quick.
Mm.
If we just head to, hey, it's my stream. Hyakushiki GBM. Does this version of Heart happen to have the goofy little pirouette at the end? Because some of them
The
don't.
goofy what?
That. You'll see in a second. That little pose that you're kind of forced into.
Oh, the pose is,
Yeah.
is good, yeah.
Some of them don't have that, and I'd actually prefer
It's
it because you're not
dangerous.
just stuck there. I
Yeah,
noticed
the pose is dangerous. You're
Jinx
right.
3, I believe.
Mm.
GNX 3 GBM. I think that boy doesn't actually have the...
That boy was too good for its own good.
You're free to just move after using this version of it. So those, I'm more okay with. I mean, it's still a good EX, but I'd prefer the version that doesn't have you locked in place.
Fair enough. I respect that and makes sense for me.
Moving on to the next one in the second batch, our very first event, which is Rising Gundam. And if I had to pinpoint one part on here that I'd say is worth the value for alteration, I would point at none of them.
What values are on the back? Just to confirm.
For the debuff or stats?
Yeah, the debuff.
Not great. It's defense hack, so defense debuffs don't do jack anyway. I mean, it gets up to 54. It's easily thrown over 100. But defense debuffs don't accomplish anything significant because defense is just not a great stat. The way the calculations are weighted in this game, offense has an easy 3-to-1 lead over defense as far as actual calculations. Defense is never gonna do anything. So debuffing it barely gets you any kind of damage boost. If anything, situations this is in will be beaten out just by having more power.
Yeah, you can use Tolji's head and ignore this. Yeah. So let's move on to the next suit
I want to say
because
Razumiro
this one
cool,
is just...
but it's just not good. It
just
leaves you
fashion.
in place. You sit there drawing your bow. The power ain't even that great. I love it. It's not fantastic. It used to be one of our only sources of S mobile fighter. You tried your best. So Rising gets a big fat nothing.
Yeah, I would avoid it for now.
Sword Strike.
It's not.
Hoo.
If Sword Strike. This is a controversial one.
This is a really dumb niche pick for me, right here in the torso. Even with the new Limit Burst ability we have for debuff, it's really not that practical to rely on your Limit Burst. This torso debuff passive is absolutely vital linchpin key for actually being able to run maximum debuff percent. You do not have any other source of full 22% torso other than this one.
It brings value to a unique niche, but it's unreplaceable.
Yeah, not that swords,
Yeah.
not that debuffs are good in the first place, but I've had to lean on this very hard. And as me and my buddy Lymore have repeated over and over again, if you miss this, you cannot run max debuff without the new limit burst. But you can't run max debuff except for 30 seconds at a time during a match. That's not great.
It's not. It's good if you set up the limit burst to just kill an enemy, to make your friend survive for a while. But while everyone unleashes cutscenes, but besides that,
Yeah.
those legs, I think they're value for a free to play player, for someone that is not heavy on chasing availability parts. It's a good. The tags are good for the trait it has, because the high firepower and Gundam type are available everywhere, and you can get great
Alright.
subs for this, or vice versa.
I'm not sure.
Though it competes with NT1 Shoban, but
It competes with
this
a lot
one
of
just
stuff,
has
man.
one restriction, you know?
It competes with a lot of things, and I'm not sure if good if you have literally nothing else is a good endorsement.
True.
Stats are better in
Fair enough.
Valkyrie.
If you're not running T, this can be a replacement for NT1 Choban, but that's mostly it.
The EXs,
The X
the
skills
two of
on the
them.
back, they have huge animations. They're great, but they have huge animations.
Yeah, speaking of which, I'm
And
inspired just to keep this open.
while I
Let's just head over to our
the
event playlist and just go
oh,
down the line of what we have going on here. It will be a rough order, considering that the alterations are not in order. But we can get to where we want to go.
they're not. Oh, there it is.
Yeah. I have them release order on the playlist, but it's not that way. So Schwert Gear is what we're looking at here. It's a stationary charge up. It's not stopping time, so you're just sitting there charging like an a-hole into this advancing rapid spin. It's not the worst.
So if someone shoots a Zook at you, you're out of the way for that. But it does have some you have super armor with that. So if you get hit by other melee attacks, you can keep going. Well, unless it's a cutscene or a grab or something like that. So I would say
blockable and bounceable. If you hit a shield at any point during that, you are stopping.
Yep. But yes, I would avoid both of the X skills. I like them personally. They are fun and they look good and the weapons are huge, but that's it. They're just there.
It also has that janky old EX profile syndrome, where instead of being a 38 like everything else in the world, it's a 4010.
Jesus.
That has to upgrade itself
4010
to a 38.
is a lot.
It's weird, man. Maelstrom on the blade itself has a similar issue. It's 44, but that's just, like, weirder. And Maelstrom, of course, being very similar to Short Gear, except you're running a much, much wider path. You're spinning multiple times. Some people enjoy it.
We also see this X skill. We also see this X skill in Destiny.
Heine Destiny.
The Heine version. Yeah.
Dorito Destiny.
But yes,
TM Revolution Destiny.
TM Revolution Destiny fits. I think it's the best one. So yeah, TM Revolution Destiny also has this with a bit more power. So if you want to use it and you have access to that, go chase that part. I would not say alter the Sword Strike one. So if you go with Sword Strike, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Some people prefer Maelstrom for the ability to cover more ground, but like Short Gear, if you're blocked in any point in that, you're cancelled.
All right, Age Normal then. Let's see what we got from that one.
I have a personal favorite, but that doesn't mean it's popular or, efficient. I don't believe the torso had anything to speak of. It does not. I don't believe the arms had anything to speak of. That's just kind of janky.
Oh, I have a
altogether.
guilty pleasure there.
It'd be the legs for me.
Mm.
If I had a guilty pleasure, it would be the legs purely for the beam shank, which we can
Oh,
enjoy here in a moment.
I'm more of let's watch that one and then
You're gonna go to
I'll
the
tell
head,
you
but
my guilty pleasure.
I just want to shank a guy.
I'm not.
But
Oh god,
great.
that's a grab.
It's a grab
Does
type.
that go through shields?
You know what? I want to find out now. It unfortunately has some really
No.
weird cooldown. It debuffs. It's cool. I kind of want to go back into the game after we're done here and see if it does actually go through shields, because it is a grab type.
It's interesting.
Now, your
And it
first
got
stop.
boosted on our.
Yes.
Now let's go with my guilty pleasure.
Is it Combat
The
6 Alpha?
shield. The
Now, hold on
shield.
now. There's something to be said about a 49% head buff. If someone did not pick up the
Oh,
race
it
of
is.
Sumo, this is just as good.
This is good this is good if you compare it to Sumo, if you compare it to Tolji's 2 head, and as you said, Divider. And this one does have a bigger duration than Tolji's. So it's
dedicated combat stance, yes.
It's a good buff. So it's a good buff to use. And do remember, altered versions of buffs stack with non-alter versions. So you can use 2 buffs if you want to straight up use normal attacks to kill someone very, very hard.
I have been using Archer Stance off of Dynamis Head and Starcher Stance off of Buster Arms for that reason. Just stacking them together. Now you want to talk about the shield?
I want to talk about the shield. I really like that shield.
The shield is nice. The shield is a buff up affected base that happens to have a kind of useless alter trait. So this is a situation where this isn't exactly something I would alter outright. The stats go almost nowhere. But I guess it's more of a call out to, if you already have one, hang on to it. That's a wonderful primary trait. That primary trait's great.
Yeah, the primary trait is really good. Until we get to the Blue Destiny one, which is
secondary trait's rubbish.
Yes, the secondary trait is unfair on this one. But
you know
this is a good shield if you have it and you have the resources and you enjoyed it. You can use it. But as a must alter, I would not say so. Oh yeah, there's also the rifle as a primary trait.
Treatment. If you happen to have one,
I'll be honest.
It was a melee player's crutch for over a year.
This was a meta part for quite a while.
Protag rifle slot that you're not going to use for anything else. ICD. Melee players loved it.
But yeah, the second trait is useless, and the stat growth does not justify as it is. So if you have one, you don't need to alter it. You can go on with your life as it is.
Launcher
so
strike
maybe
next,
the shield too.
Which is an interesting little cookie. 2 principal skills in here to worry about. The debuffs are, of course, nothing we care about. But the arm mag, which has its own utility that I can touch on in a second, and the back-mounted Jirobi.
The back is really solid too. They are!
The back has a very long duration, I gotta say, for this type of skill. Like, that lasts for a hot second.
And,
2 seconds
and if you can shoot that uninterrupted at an enemy while your limit burst is up with a long shooter, you're going to melt someone down.
Now,
no issues.
Do not get that much power or even ammo capacity after alter. You're not doing this per se for practical reasons. Why I enjoy the arms is because they have a high projectile count for the purposes of flat damage. If for some reason you're running a flat damage build to get around some kind of unique challenge, these are actually very nice because you get 12 projectiles out of this. You get
Jesus, that's
1
a lot.
missile on the front, 10 bullets, and 1 missile on the back. So not only are you getting a nice spread of projectiles, but you're getting a stagger off of the front and the back of the volley. This is what I spam.
It's solid
for...
value to clear custom missions.
Yeah, this is what I spam for custom missions that shut off EX damage. I just whip this out and just start throwing 7 rounds downfield. Otherwise, I don't think there's a terrible amount of value here. It seems to make you want to fight
I think
large enemies.
the legs. Yeah,
the
legs increase damage, but it's not an amazing thing.
And cooldown
because it's just piercing boost.
Multi-mission bosses. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, you can use Areur's legs if you got those maxed out. It's gonna be way better in cooldown in like 99% of the situations.
Now, as much as we like the
so
back,
might as well avoid that.
AB 6015, this is a situation like we had before with Toggy's 2 on the arms. That if you happen to have this and already have it maxed, this is a fantastic power to cooldown ratio. If you have it maxed.
If you have it maxed, exactly.
You might
so
not
while not a must, it's good. Yeah.
Alright. And the next one we're going to be looking through would be already at Jagadoga Quest, huh? Didn't think we'd get here so soon. Might actually have to get a bit of a refresher on this one. I don't recall a lot of these traits, mainly because it looks to be mostly forgettable.
Yeah, it's not. Let's just say that trait-wise, there is not anything impressive here.
Maybe the only existence of a Gatling gun support trait in the whole goddamn game.
Yes, and you can just avoid this with so many other traits.
The funnels are not great even when altered. Saber combo is goddamn saber combo.
We did got a stealth buff of funnels. Did we? Maybe we can.
I don't believe the funnels got anywhere though from testing. There's really not that much to be excited about here.
There was a time where this sword was fun for the melee death value as a filler, but yeah,
even then you can get more out of an unaltered GNX saber. I feel like
exactly
for value.
So no, it's not a must do. There's not.
Saber combo is a saber combo. The beam shredder misses everything, even when it does hit. The damage is really low. It does have an interesting property that is actually a bit of splash when it connects. It can actually get around chariot events.
And it does have a lot of projectiles, so maybe you can play around with that.
If you want to hit a guy once for 2 damage, there you go. And the funnels don't fire enough or do enough for me to really like them. So, Jagadoga...
Oh my god, look at how long they take to shoot.
Oh yeah, let me restart that for you.
It's just... takes so long between volleys.
Moving on to something more exciting. I lied, it's Blitz.
Oh, Blitz is exciting for me.
Why is Blitz exciting for you?
Well, it has 2 things. One of the few stealth buffs in the game.
Okay. In the
that actually boosts shot. Yeah, and the shot buff is not amazing, but it exists there, so you can take some advantage out of it.
I suppose it has some niche uses, though that cooldown is really bumming me out.
Yeah, if it's maxed, it's okay. If it's not, you lose 9.
Is something you can get out of NT1 Chobum in the exact same slot.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's easier to get and less resources.
Right, not even the same.
Yes, it's torso. It's torso. Yeah, you can use both to keep everyone healed, but you don't need that in this regard. As the game is growing, and also I like the cooldown profile on the arms.
The arms are interesting, but the arms suffer from something unusual. Let me show you what I mean here. So, Treacherous Rush here is a series of slashes followed by a knock away, and you shoot a stake into a guy. That stake is entirely based on your shot stat. All these melee hits are still in your melee stat, but it's actually split up, so that final hit is shot. So you have to invest in 2 now to get anything done. I see what you mean about the very, very low cooldown.
Yeah, the cooldown is very low. But at 19.5 is like 2 seconds lower than most X skills. And even first use is 5 seconds, which is not bad. You can go around that with, I don't know, like a low amount of initial cooldown, and that one becomes already available very fast. So it's a good X skill if you're playing around with the cooldown build, but the time it takes to execute has some issues.
I'm sorry to
But
say.
yeah, if I had to recommend anything, I like the chest, just for the stealth, because it's rare. It's not a common thing to have a shot buff and a stealth buff together.
We're gonna side grid real quick,
just for that.
We just got another stealth buff in the permanent pool, and I want to see what that looks like. So I'm just gonna whip up the wing list real quick, and we're gonna see what Death Scythe Hyperjammer at EX1 looks like.
Yeah.
Dude, it gets a 20% speed boost too.
Oh, wait, I thought that one had melee boost.
Nope, it's only quick shot boost.
Okay.
So as much as you like that blitz in concept, we just got a much, much better version at EX1. I don't care if the cooldown's not there at EX1, that speed boost makes a lot of difference.
It does. It does. You can't just run with the 4-star ticket and you get a better part than what you would spend your materials, rare materials on to grind a blitz chest. Blitz. You win this one. Let's leave blitz too.
Stargazer. That's a real G. I think should be somewhere down here. Yep. It only has 1 EX. It's not a great one, but it looks really cool. If you want to have that beam around you.
It's one of the best effects we have.
Speed, shot attack,
in my opinion,
defense. It looks pretty good.
If you want to make a light show, this is what you want.
There are 2 things I would recommend here, which I already have altered, as you can see. The torso, which is a hard 20% cooldown for an entire minute, the first minute of the match.
I'll be honest with you.
You don't remember
won't alter this one for. No, I like it, but I won't alter it. I don't like the chest cooldown. 1 minute for me is like really fast for some of the. So unless I'm running like a really small multi-mission or just dropping rocks, I don't know.
I feel like
usually my mission, like, it's very situational for me.
I feel like a situation where this 20% will make a difference, then you're going to be clearing things within the time limit easily because you have that extra 20%. You're going to get a lot of uses out of this before it shuts off. And what other 20% torso access do we really have? Standard parts that you need to fully max out.
Well, yes. Standard parts you fully need to max out, and we even got a universal one recently. Fair. So that it's like what we talked about. Some parts lose value as others become available. And in my opinion, this is one of them.
Well, you can't argue about the arms at least. It is not only an S revive, which isn't terribly common. I mean, it's one of the more common ones, but it's a revive on the arm.
And 50%.
Yep, it's goofy. I like it.
It's great. If you're making custom missions, this is going to get to make things a lot more interesting.
Even base is 25. To clarify, even though it's on a different slot than most revives usually are, because of the wording of revive one time and the timing that it triggers at, revive traits do not stack. you will still revive once at whatever your highest value is, and then they all get used up.
So just use only one revive per suit, or it fails.
TR1, this guy's actually pretty cool, and I accidentally altered more than I meant, as you can see. But that's not a bad thing.
I love this whole suit up, except one of the parts which is like I use it as a joke. It's a joke. I cannot use it in any other way.
But I'm not even mad because I've been using that flat damage boost in situations where I don't need to activate something like Kabakali.
This also helps with Nishi challenge if you guys are still stuck with that.
Yeah.
This 35% hit helps.
You say that, but
so let's go on
I'd rather just buy some 1-star parts and actually alter it for the Nishi alone.
That also works.
Shield is an effective shock. I'm just going because it's the first video I have. Shield is an effective shotgun type EX for once.
It is, but it's also really hard to take advantage out of it. You need to be stuck to the enemy to get the full value out of it.
Actually good enough at BB Plus that you can blow through multiple dudes with this in that small cone.
That's why I said this is my guilty pleasure.
Yeah, and it's a
because
sustained cone.
I use this as a joke. When you need to shoot more shots than you're killing, this works. This works perfectly fine.
Super solid, even at EX1. It's a super solid, reliable skill to get anyone in that cone in front of you out of your way.
Mm-hmm.
It does enough damage to compete. It's not poopy like Buster.
Now let's jump to the cool ones.
What's the cool ones?
The other shield. The other shield.
Oh yeah, you like?
Look
I like
at that crazy.
Too.
That shield's crazy.
Buff up and a shield-based shooting power boost, all at the cost of only your.
It's universal. It's goddamn universal. This shield works with every single shot build in the game. Every single one.
Melee people can get the benefit of the first trait without even worrying about wasting the second because that first trait's so good on a shield slot.
Exactly.
Buff effect, of course, being additive, and that's what makes it so silly. The 30% shooting power at the cost of a little bit of cooldown is excellent, and it rarely leaves my slot on any of my builds, especially since it has that Pippa long range for me.
And let's be honest, the only competition it has, it's the Cosmos shield from Cosmos Strike.
God forbid if you're running
Build Strike Cosmos.
If you're running a T shooter, oh my god, you have buff up effect and shooting power on a shield. It's that no thanks meme. It's fantastic. Other things to alter? Can or so, but I don't think it really needs it.
The legs and the chest both get small upgrades. The chest is a cooldown upgrade for the initial cooldown,
and as you can see,
but the projectiles are not that fast.
No. You can see here it's a fairly slow firing deal.
The legs are really fast though, so it's good if you have. The legs are great on a cooldown build. You can just spam that button and melt everything.
Even in Arena, these serve as an alternative to certain other high-power, let's call them range yeets, because of just how fast it dispenses all of its shots. It just Wild West those out super quick. And you can fire it off and barely waste a second from the word go. I like it.
It's gun mode.
I was using it over other range yeets, quote unquote, for a while because I could get a faster time off it. I could cheat in those 456s. Arena's a whole different animal now, but it's solid. The arms,
yes,
I don't
it's a good start.
Anything I care about? Note that's both pretty garbo.
Yeah, I would not touch the arms. It's like I cannot find a reason to even look at the arms. It's so bad.
I don't like this rifle. Holy shit. You don't want your health to be under. You don't want to rely on your health being under 60.
Yes, that rifle is like, well, it only does one thing. It looks good.
And then the shield booster, which looks good, but that awakening effect really isn't that great.
Yeah,
So I
I
might
would
cap
not
this
use this
on both
over a
shields
free
and
option.
legs.
The back competes with the ogre awakening, so it's
Jesus,
not
using the
even
ogre.
fair.
Delta Plus.
Oh, this one has a few fun ones.
A few fun ones. The torso is something I definitely looked into from memes, though it's nothing really super effective. I just like having access to that fatal blow in case at some point it becomes, really widespread in the trade slots.
Yeah.
Of the AXs, you have Vulcans and a shield grenade. While that is
The
a
shield,
usable shield grenade, it is slow and in
the
no
shield
way
has
as effective as something like a Mark II shield.
the shield has two good things though. The projectiles have a tremendous area of effect compared to the Mark II ones, and it's fast. I like how fast the projectile is,
The
but
projectiles feel
that's
slower.
on.
In fact, I can and have outrun them before. I have
Oh,
fired them and dashed past them.
that's a bad experience then.
They feel a little slower than usual.
So yeah, the shield is only if you really want that area of effect. I would not do it. I would not touch it in any other way. Those arms though, those arms for me are
okay.
a must do.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that Shiki rifle we just talked about?
Okay.
Exactly. This
So
fits.
it's wrapping up another middle shooter condition for a good shot boost.
Yeah, it's just easy value.
I wouldn't call them essential, but they're nice. Definitely.
Definitely.
I see nothing going on in the legs and the back. I apparently altered because it is a buff up effect back. They're not terribly common. It's not going to be really super essential since you can get almost the same effect universally out of Artemis. But it was nice to have nonetheless.
And you also, yeah, and they get killed by uh, Titus Alter.
A bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Titus Alter just straight up has a bigger value, like 22% or something.
I don't think. Yeah, there's nothing else really going on in Delta Plus. I will give you the call out for the arms. But I just really don't care for the shield, altered or unaltered. I think it's fine as it is. You don't even need to alter it.
It's just for the area of effect explosion. They won't be breaking any world records for damage.
Goofy Goof.
So next one. Oh, this one has value.
Does it?
Did you look at the legs and the Armax?
Apparently,
I like the Armax.
The legs is the only thing. The arm's okay. It's a vertical wooshy. That's not the worst thing in the world. It gets you really high up and it catches a few people. It's okay.
Yeah,
apparently,
and it's really.
I can alter the torso, which is nothing. I think I know why I didn't.
The torso has a bad secondary trait. If you have this part, you don't need to alter it.
Great primary trait. Now,
I think I would only use this as like a sub part for a Xeon Arena or something like that.
The legs were pretty sweet. It is a power base cooldown. Power gets all the fun tools with cooldown anyway, and it's a big fat 20%, which is just the standard. I will give it to the legs.
And yeah, the legs are just usable as it is. I don't remember if the whip had a power trait. I think I remember something like that, or was it another one?
About it. It's super armor, and that's why Rek was excited.
Oh, it's the knife is also good value. The knife, it's the knife that is good.
With a
I remember this had
30%. melee physical boost. I guess
Yeah. If you have this maxed, it's a good place to start.
it's not the worst. I don't think I'd put
It's
it
a
on the
it's
list
a good
next to
a
legs.
good sub.
It's okay.
Yeah. Fine, I'll give that one up. I would do it, but I would say it's not essential.
Rosen Zulu would be the next one we're looking at here. Which actually is a little older. I don't think there's a lot going on here, to
They
be
are.
honest. I know
I
people like
the back and the arms.
people like the existing EXs, but I don't think they needed to be altered to be effective. You get a small. Oh my God, McAfee, get out of here.
You get a
I have
guaranteed
million pop-ups
revive.
today. You get a debuff added onto that stun. Does it need it? No. Is it a good debuff? No, it's a defense debuff. I don't think it needs the alter. I don't
Fair
think
enough.
the torso necessarily needs it either, because Sharzaku does the exact same thing without being limited availability.
True. Similar amount of resource
The arms
spending
are just
as well.
as good without
Well,
it.
less.
The shield is not a
What
good
what
EX
changes?
profile.
What changes in the arms? What changes in the arms? Hmm? The arms what do they get out of this?
They legit just get Pierce.
Okay, that's good, but it's not essential.
It's not worth it.
I accept that. So unless you guys are
Zulu, nothing but it's a special boy as it is.
Yes, it has but fun. It has a lot of fun there. The back and the head have very specific niches that can bring value.
Looks like you can probably say the same about Nodley. Considering I have the option to alter any of it, but I chose not to.
I feel sad about that one.
Nodley has absolutely nothing going on to it to my memory. There's nothing here that's even really a niche application outside of maybe shot defense if your enemy's using beams. No thank you. Trial system definitely doesn't do anything effective and doesn't get any more effective. Does trial system even get a... It doesn't even get a debuff like Psycho Jammer does.
Yeah, I think it gets an initial cooldown buff. It looks like smaller now.
There's absolutely nothing on Nodley. Nodley's a piece of junk, I'm sorry. Its back is an all-time classic. There is no reason to alter it.
Zero reason to alter it. Yeah, the good traits were already available without alter. So if you want to use the back for shot damage, which is completely outclassed by others we are going to talk about, and the arms for the damage trait, but not worth it. Not worth it. Run from it. Gifted fella, yeah. The original first traits are value.
Yeah.
Noir. Oh.
Noir is a weirdo.
Well, I fully altered this one. It's one of my top 5 suits. I cannot hate this. It just looks cool.
The only thing I think
the arms?
Really gets I know the arms have a melee boost, but you can find better for that, man.
No. I was going to badmouth the arms.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I had one hell of a talk with a friend about how much value this brings. But if you look at the tags and the total stats, even as a sub, it's a horrendous transfer. It's really, really, really small.
Yep.
So the 5% you get extra from using another arms as sub, it's not worth it.
No.
You would be better with P-type that side on an infighter suit,
I think
which starts at 20% and transfers 8k.
Much better. I think the only thing that deserves
not
a spot
fair
on this is the back going from a base 4 mag to a base 8 without any kind of investment. If you have a level 1 version of this, you have completely upgraded by altering it.
Yeah, that's valid.
If you
I would
have
say the
a level
legs
10 version,
get fixed.
nah, man, the
Yeah, the
legs stay
level
at B
10
minus.
version but legs are cheating. Remember, the X skill for this is way stronger than the word tag, the power
Yep,
profile
okay, but
identification.
alternate Rick DS in the current Buster event capsule already starts at a B minus and does the same thing.
Which one?
Rick DS. Oh
But that one is alterable?
No, it's not, but it starts at B minus.
Oh. What? It does not.
It totally does. Eat it, I'm about to show you.
Now I'm confused. Please do.
Zeta Gundam, Ricky D.
Yes, let's go.
B minus.
Okay.
And it is still a flippy
yeah.
flip.
It's worse in Pierce
Yay.
and initial cooldown, but it does not take resources.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man.
And it's currently available. Okay, I accept defeat. Noir is fun, but you don't need it. The legs. The back you do.
I'm going to say back is a straight upgrade across the board, and I like it.
Yeah.
Heavy arms. Thought about this one a lot. It's the torso. It's pretty much just the torso.
It is just a
the
torso.
goes
I was
from
so disappointed.
A very, very powerful EX to begin with. That's more than 50 individual shots to just a stronger one. There's no good reason not to, because you're taking something already really great and make even greater. It's not like something that starts good and gets a little gooder. It goes from great to greater.
But it only has one flaw, which is the duration of the X skill. You just get stuck there shooting.
Make him dance.
But for the amount of damage, it churns out, it's completely forgiven.
Yeah.
It's a B minus too.
Nothing else is really worthwhile.
As we were talking about more legs.
Blue Destiny 1. Which I need to share. Blue Destiny 1, I do
Look at the shield. Look at the shield.
I'm gonna look at the shield eventually. But first stop is that exam system. Because that's a 40% melee with
I love
20%
the effects.
buff. A speed buff. It takes a little bit longer.
It goes fast and looks cool.
Than a stance. But it looks cool as you see here. And you get some real power out of it.
It does have a flaw. The duration is not tremendous.
Fact.
You have better. You would be better with the age buff if you need duration.
But I think it's definitely worth considering for an alteration. Not above the shield, but I think it's perfectly good.
Yes, I agree with you.
The shield, though. The shield is one of the best key-based shields we own. It's buff up
just value.
Effect on alter tier, and it's buff up time on base. It's just amazing.
I would say this is prime value if you enjoy using cutscene skills. Because most cutscene skills suffer an issue, which is the buffs that they bring don't last long.
If you are
this
is
makes
value.
This is just amazing. I still use this today.
Also,
in some builds. Not all.
If you own the legs, at least run them on your skin, because that glide is so smooth. Just look at this shit. Just look at how great that is. Just so smooth. It's one of the best gliding legs I've seen.
You can kite stuff with that. If you have a speed buff, as we talked about.
A Freak custom. Paladin of Xeon, Nimbus. It also happens to have the same exam system. So I would also probably give it the the same benefit.
Yeah, I would say so. Just choose one or the other. You don't need both of them.
Otherwise, this is the big pop-off right here. Torso.
Yeah, the torso is just clean.
It's a miniature version
we
of
use a lot of
Barbados
buff.
Tea. In my opinion, Alter Barbaros Tea. And it's buff up effect, and if you are buffed, you get a big fat melee boost. If you are running
so
buffs
you
in
can
any
just
way,
cast. Yeah. You can just run the, like for example, the blue destiny shield and this, and cast one of the buffs that we mentioned, and you'll be running a, I don't know, almost 90% buff. No, not 90%, like around 80. Let's be fair. But yes, it's still a lot of damage.
It's fantastic. Everything else
the
doesn't feel
bust
that
on
great.
the sword.
I know the secondary trait on
I like the sword.
On the swords look exciting, but I think you can find better options.
It's 30% and has a close combat tag and has 8k power. It's good. You'd probably do better chasing the 1/100 swords as subs.
Can you get
but this is still
Exia.
good.
Yeah. Say, can you get a dual Exia?
Could you show just show the leg X? Just show the leg X. I'm curious. I don't remember that one.
It's not a scatter shot like Pale Rider. It's an actual missile deal. After this really sick exam. Look how fast you are. That's fuck boy. There we go. Let me get back to those leg missiles.
And those legs have homing. That's fun.
Yeah, they do track a little bit.
We can do some. Yeah, small amount of tracking
and it's a
is
cluster.
fun.
Very interesting in that sense. It's not going to split off to multiple people, but it is going to find that one guy and hit him mostly all at once. And I mean,
and it does a bunch of hits. Worse. Not amazing.
No.
It's not amazing, but it might be a fun tool to play with.
This next one is going to be very interesting to talk about, which is going to be Curios.
Oh.
I think is way the fuck up here. Don't demonetize me for swearing, please.
In my opinion, this one has a bunch of stuff to alter. It's arguable, but I like the head. Like the machine gun trait is great.
Yeah, but that's
and pairs perfectly.
20 armor off
and pairs perfectly with the good old. True. Well, yeah. Okay. This one is good. If you have it at base, it does not need the alter. The trait is good to pair off with the, as we talked about before, the frog.
Yeah.
Our froggy friend, the machine gun.
The arms are where I want to stop off first. It is something that has big value, but is slowly losing it with the advent of 4-star job gear.
Yes. It was one permanent tool in the toolkit of a lot of meta players
it's still
in the pre 3.1 because everyone would buff. You could stop time with buffs, and that would work. That would let you buff tremendously.
It's an instant limit burst, just by buffing.
So you could just limit burst and not care about anything else.
With almost any level of job gear. But now that 4-star job gears are here, you can start the match with a full job gauge, and this becomes redundant. But if you don't have one of those fancy things, this is still great.
Exactly. For a while, until they become more widespread, because their availability right now is not great, job gear wise, they might still see some use. I like this back. I like it. That, as you talked before, this one has value if you have it maxed, because it's a speed buff and a 39% shot buff.
I don't like it enough to put it on the list.
I like it because it saves me a lot in build circuit. That speed buff does miracles.
Fair. But I think considering all it really gains off the alteration is 20, 30, 40, 20, 20, 40. It gets 10% shot. That's it. I'm not in love with altering it.
I I get that. I would still do it.
If
But
this
yeah,
was a buff and not an awakening, I would be all on board.
I love. The thing is, it's an awakening, but it's not on the same slot as the most common shot buffs.
But it has
You
the
don't.
gross
These
awakening
don't.
cooldown.
It does, but it also has the duration, the good duration profile.
If
51
you
seconds
max
is a lot.
it.
Yes, as I said, if you have this one maxed, it's a good one.
Alright, you're
I
allowed
would
your
not say
opinion.
it's a must do. It's a must. I would not say it's a must do. It's good,
You're
but
allowed your
not a
opinion, I
must.
accept it. Just like you have to accept that I don't think this shield is a must do.
Oh, oh. I respect your opinion and I kindly disagree. That shield becomes monstrous.
That shield goes from B to B plus. Whoa!
It's and B plus is a lot when you go on that profile.
I just don't think
It's
it
low
needs it to
cooldown,
excel.
really fast. The damage difference does matter when you're chasing bigger arena
I don't think I'm using this
opponents,
in
but yeah,
arena though. Ideally.
depends on the arena. But
Hold
yeah,
on.
I get you.
Meats are no longer in favor since they did not receive the blanket melee buff.
Exactly.
It might be more
So
favorable.
it might be more favorable. Not a must do, but it's not. But I would say it's good to do.
My
But
argument
yeah,
is it does not need it to be amazing.
and we also have standard options, which
Yes.
is like the red frame arms. So I'll give you that one.
Now for a real good
Oh
boy.
God, the next three.
The
These
next
are
three
amazing.
gives you flashbacks of losing all your alter tools.
Yes.
Susanoo.
This was so bad.
We have the best Vulcans in the game. We have fantastic traits on multiple parts. We have a straight up Transam raid, which alters into a stronger Transam raid. Let me just say Vulcans real quick. They do not need the alteration. They will not make the list. You can if you want to, but they
The
already start
legs.
on an altered value.
I respect that. I respect that.
And
I
I
would
need
s-
to point out, look at them. They're flinching on every single hit. If you have these in your toy box, break them out.
Yes, play with them. You're going to have fun tremendously.
Alright, so actual serious alter choices. I don't think the arms
Okay,
need it.
so the arms would only need it if you want the extra power from it. If you're using this as a sub. If you're using this as a sub, the arms need it.
Using this as a sub, get something new, scrub.
Just to keep up. Just to keep up. I would still use that side arms instead of this.
The legs, I totally would.
Oh god, the legs are a must do.
Because it goes from a B plus to an A and adds 10% on top of that.
I tested this versus the Exia version, and the level 10 Transam raid from Susanoo beats Exia Altered.
Well, of course, because it has
At
the
level
Machine
1.
of Soul.
The amount of attack it gets from the buff is tremendous. Do not underestimate that.
You're not going to like me for this? I think the blades are in the same place as the arms. They already are good,
don't think so.
And you should only alter them if you want them to keep up as subs. I don't think job boosts.
See. This is where I think these blades differ from the what we talked about before about the Age rifle, the Dodds rifle.
Mm-hmm.
The Dodds rifle had a completely dead trait for its role. This one doesn't. The 17% job gauge is very, very solid, and it only has one requirement for both traits. That is solid value if you want to use them.
I will let you have it, but only because I'm gonna hold it above you later.
Oh God.
On to Gaia. On to
Gaia
Doggo.
is... Gaia, what the hell did they do with Gaia?
Gaia, surprisingly, as much hype as it gets, doesn't have a big spread of amazing things. It has a few
Oh, it doesn't.
really, really, really good things. First
Yes.
up, not the torso. I think torso's debatable. People like that transformer power because it gets up to 1730. I don't know. I think first up for Gaia,
it's good if you chase. If it's good if you chase transformer, and do remember some pieces, some arenas focus more on shot defense, and the Gaia chest is tremendous value on those arenas because of the transformer boost, which is a must-have tag on shot defense arenas.
Penetration, so you get past the high shot defense, and extra power, and you're having shot defense from transformer. It is uniquely situated for specifically shot defense arena.
A very specific situation, yes.
The shield is what everyone's here for. B plus
oh
3
God,
seconds.
the shield.
You shoot, you throw it real fast, real hard. Other guy falls on his fanny.
And it hits above its weight class. People have tested it versus Gaussian Rebake Altered Shield, and this one does more damage in a lot of situations.
The shield is it.
So it's
the
value.
You need. Kabakali, be
all right, let's go.
Head.
That's a fun one.
Head. That's a non-zero starting trait and an amazing alter trait.
It is. You can use this
for a head ICD with an actual good non-zero starter trait.
Do remember, everyone, cooldown builds are being used a lot, and initial cooldown on the head makes those builds easier to set up.
Otherwise,
so it's value.
Outside the amazing head, I don't think there's a whole lot going on here. The EXs okay.
Aren't the back a throw X skill? It's low damage, but it's a throw X skill too.
It's not. It didn't get the buffs that everything else got, and it's not terribly powerful. Look at this. You throw two little ringies.
It's not.
That's it. It's edge fling that you got to reach back for.
Oh, and the arms have a really long combo that catches everyone moving.
The arms are good and do not need altering to be good.
Exactly.
I don't think the arms.
There's also the shotgun.
Okay, we'll get to
the shotgun does not need it.
Guaranteed.
Yes.
Yeah, there's nothing else going on here, honestly.
Yeah, I would say the shotgun is a good joke if you want to play around with that, but
you just said it's a joke.
It's not needed at all. Yes, I did.
Archie, you have opinions on this.
I do. I love the gun and I love the legs.
I would like.
Hmm.
Well, the gun. You like the gun. It's defense and job. I don't think the world likes the gun. I think the gun is one of the sickest rifles we have in the game visually, and it's worth owning just for that alone. But I don't think it's worth altering.
As I said, the gun brings value in two positions. It uses only one restriction for both traits. For me, that's an easy setup in a lot of builds. And it brings job gauge, which fits with the Susanna Blades as well, if you're following that up.
Tank man, though.
I'm a weirdo. And those legs Archie legs are must do. They get a tremendous increase in damage.
The Fang power becomes amazing, and your fashion power drops to the ocean floor.
Do remember that these are split damage. They also use shot power, but they do so much damage that using some shot does not matter.
The shots happen.
It doesn't matter.
The Fangs are meleeing anyway, so you have a pretty good uptime on damage from this. That's a pretty good regular attack.
If you just release these Fangs on, like, I don't know, the current multi-mission at the time, one of those big bosses, you can just move around and they'll probably kill it.
I feel bad for how you look, but otherwise, yeah, not much else going on here. But we're reaching the end of the line, which is great. Next off the bat would be Tetra, which I definitely have a standout on here. Worlds above anything
Yeah,
else.
I'm with you on that. This is one of the most unfair parts. If you had to set up a top three, this one has it. One of the top three parts.
And that would be this back. Because it's a combination again
It
of buff up effect and shooting power. From two conditions that any shooter should be able to finish incredibly easy. The most effective and common shooter
also
tag, and not getting hit.
exactly. Also notice the back has high mobility tag, so you can use this up on a melee build if you need some buff power.
Yeah.
So it's easy, universal buff power. It's how can I not like this?
I don't think anything else really happened here, otherwise. The arms became
Mm,
okay mags, usable mags, everything else is just kind of butts.
the
The
arms are
head,
just a fun for
the head used to be a
projectiles,
cheat
but yeah,
for Gundam type arena. That's about it.
yeah, we have better options now. This does not need
HG
alteration.
normal is such a sad state. There are a few interesting things that you
I
would
like
like,
parts.
but
I like parts. This is one unique monster trait part that it's you
and what is
only
that?
get it in this the gun. The gun is unique.
Right.
If you
First
can
off, Stream
trigger
Slash
both
is the
traits,
real G EX. I like how it looks. The gun is
yes, this
ICD and a powerful shooting power boost. An alter tier, a standard alter tier
yes
2035.
yes at non super Sokai tier. If you're not super Sokai, this is going to catch up to a lot of things. But do remember, this is very specific to trigger.
Yep.
It's a great power boost, but it's very specific and a bad sub stat wise. So do
I,
consider all of that.
I'll put long rifle on here, but you
Due to
gotta
just how
make
dumb it
it
is.
work, son.
Yes.
Long rifle if you sign away your build's versatility. Everything else is
It's a
just kind of
squad
a sad
only.
state. Nothing has anything good going. Went on auto shooting crit rate. Okay. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Uh, Max
I would not
range.
I would not update anything else. Oh, Maxer, I have some controversial opinions on this one.
Is there gonna be some
A
downers?
lot of people
I'm up for it.
got mad at me.
What's your
I
thoughts?
say the head is a must do. The head is a must do.
It's piercing and power boost. All right, I guess.
Yes,
I mean, head
it's
power
the
boosts aren't
only
terribly common.
exactly, but this is the only mobile fighter head that has a power boost that is not a build project.
And it's close combat. You know what? I'll give it to you. That's solid. I'll give a freebie for the legs for the sake of time because it's an amazingly powerful EX that
Well,
just
yeah,
gets stronger by like 30 goddamn percent.
yes. The
Otherwise,
back gets killed. The
the
back
arms are
gets killed.
good.
We get
The
dragon.
arms are already good. The back has mobile fighter buff up effect, but you can find a million other things like Age 1 Titus that are just doing it better.
Yes, and on
Without having to
so if you can
pigeonhole your
trigger
name to
mobile
mobile
fighter,
fighter.
exactly. And this one at least has other options to use in the back besides a build project.
The back might be
You
fun
can
for
use
memes.
dragon back for power,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's good but not mandatory.
Those legs, wooshy, they're worth it. The arm is cool, but doesn't need to be altered to shine. Hyper mode is just sad every time it appears on my screen.
What does this hyper mode get?
Uh,
Oh, it's the one that gets. Fair enough. I'll pretend I didn't see it.
it gets 10%
I'll
melee.
I'll pretend I didn't see it.
Throne
Let's
Drive
move on.
is also not great.
Mm,
I think the arms are cool, but I don't think the arms get effective. I think this
yes.
ad for Game of Thrones mobile needs to leave.
Yes, it does. I would say I'm going to. If I had to alter someone here, I would only do dry arms for fashion
I did
for
the
the X
arms
skill.
exactly, so I wanted to
The
make the choice
projectiles
easy.
are fast.
Otherwise,
They
it's nothing
look
worthwhile.
cool. Yes, nothing. I agree with you.
And Rabawu, good old Reba, everyone was altering everything on this. I did not.
That suit is just a tremendous mix of good package. It's like
Okay.
things are almost everything here was already good. Like those arms get a really good mag size. The chest becomes usable at a good projectile count,
I don't think any
and
of
the
the
legs are really
EXs on here needed it.
fast.
There's not a single EX that needed the alter.
The chest, I would argue the chest needs it. To be usable, the chest needs it.
Yeah, but then it just becomes eh.
Well,
I'm sorry, eh
that's the
plus.
thing. It's well, it's something as I said, to be usable.
I also disagree with the splution over the head because
Uh,
you can do better for a non-Xeon power boost on the head that doesn't have you pigeonhole into
we
it.
I agree, but this is the same situation as the H2 chest. In a specific situation where you're running a shot build on a melee defense arena, you can use this hand as a good one. It has the
Yes.
relevant Xeon tag, the commander tag, and the boost. Uh, I also think that
The
the
rifle.
back, the back is value. Oh god, that gun! I did it. I did it. I
It's
could not.
piercing
I'm
on.
still
I guess
using
it's
it.
double boost, but again, like you can do better than specifically Xeon.
Exactly. But see, this for that specific arena that I talked about, the Xeon Defense Arena, you get the piercing, which would be pretty much
And we
mandatory in
ended that
that type of
conversation. How
arena.
did I get another alert? The goddamn conversation won't die.
And yeah, also the legs on Ribo are really fast projectile wise too.
I guess they're right. Finally, Bolt, which I think has some interesting things at least, but not a whole lot of anything either.
It does not break new ground.
It has the exact same issues that Maxter has, that we have better, almost free mobile fighter alternatives to anything like this back.
I'm actually curious. Just returning to Rubo, you say nothing needs it.
No, I'm pretty sure I clearly typed Reddit says everything.
Okay, okay. No, I was going to say if you had any like standout parts for yourself on Kubo. Do
No,
you like anything
I think
here?
everything is cool. I think the
No?
arms are a great mag that just sometimes go over someone's shoulder. I think the back is one of those niche tag boosts that's good to have in your toolbox, but otherwise not vital. I don't really care for much on here, as you can see from my alter spread. I altered the rifle because you wouldn't shut up.
I cannot shut up about the rifle. It has commander, it has initial cooldown, and the X damage is universal. This
Yep.
protects you from getting cutscene to that on a bunch of situations. So if you're a tank weirdo like me, well, this helps.
And I
Now,
think
going back
finally
to
Mr.
Bolt.
Bolt. Mr. Bolt doesn't have a lot happening. Graviton Hammer is cool, but I don't think it needs to be altered to really get its full effectiveness. The back is just more of a side grade to Dragon than anything. So I guess now that it's permanent, you can make your choice of what has the more beneficial tags for you, close combat or high firepower.
Exactly.
The Dragon back also has its boost as an alter trait, so it's a little bit higher.
Hmm.
Other than
I
that,
wouldn't say.
I don't think Bolt really has a good home.
Do, let's look at the super mode of Bolt just to confirm something.
Okay.
Let
But I
me
also want to
just
look at Dragon real quick. Yeah, Dragon's power boost
yes.
is 1730.
Yeah,
So Dragon actually has the better power boost.
it does. If
Bolt
you're
super
using
mode
physical, I'm not.
starts,
Yes,
or
Bolt
hyper
super
mode,
mode.
starts at a 20-10 spread. 20 melee attack, 10 melee defense. It alters into 30-10.
So let me just say this. This does not become great when altered. It just reaches the base value of some other parts. But if you do like it, how it looks, you can, yeah. It's the yes hyper mode. You then have the
Does that sound
you then
accurate?
have fun stuff. It kind of does. If you want to use another super mode, you would be going into either master to max. This one at least you can max. You and when it had its reprint, it was easier to max.
Yep. But
And without going into Sokai tier, you can play around with the gold suit. So
yeah, I guess.
it's fashion tier. Fashion tier.
Well, I guess that covers all the new batch of limited old event alters.
Yes. I would just say keep on that, guys. Don't forget to do your multi mission. We have Satan Gundam now, and it has the parts for those juicy 4-star gears.
All right, so this is a nice little wrap up. Thank you for joining me, Melga. I'm going to be taking this list we made, and I'm going to be dumping it into game tips in a cleaner format, just so we can just recap for everybody what we decided was the worthwhile items. They can use that as a guideline for themselves. And I think I'm going to go fill up on some pasta and get myself some rest. Thank you, as always, for joining me, man.
No problem. Do remember, guys. Uh, we might have some new materials also on Sunday for those pilot marks. But yeah, I'm Melga. This was MC, and goodbye for my side.
Thank you for joining us in GNL DiVE. If you want somewhere cool to hang out to get tips, tricks, stats, and strats, come visit us on discord.gg/GBM, GNL New Type Labs. Be excellent.